have on this call is an amazing thing to see. And it's a testament to who you are and what you mean. I grew up in Gulfport, Mississippi. I grew up just a stone's throw away from New Orleans. We were the only debate team in the southern half of the state. And so we were a member of the Louisiana Forensics League. So I used to travel to New Orleans and to Louisiana every Friday for debate tournaments. I've been to St. Mary's and St. Augs and Caddo Magnet and Shreveport. I will never pretend to be from New Orleans, but I love the state because I love the South. I love my home state of Mississippi, my adopted state of Georgia, and I am proud of the leadership that the South continues to show, because it was John Bel Edwards' election that really sent the glimmer of hope throughout the South that we could make progress. It was the election of Roy Cooper in the great state of North Carolina that said the South had something, to show, but it's Georgia that made certain that people knew the South had something to say. And it is important that in each of those places that we reinforce the good that we do and the good that we know. When I became Democratic leader in 2011, I got this cold call from a woman in Ohio who had been working with leaders across the South, working with people who were in the minority in number, but were leading the conversations for progress across the country. And when Lauren Grow-Orgo introduced me to Karen Carter Peterson, I was trying to figure out how I hadn't known her all my life. Because when Karen and I talked about what we needed to see for our states, what we needed to see for the Deep South, it was a common conversation. We deserved to translate progress into Southern. We needed leaders who understood that it's not enough to want, you have to be able to get. And that the work that is done on the local level, the work that is done on the state level has to be amplified by leaders on the federal level who see us, who hear us, and who are willing to reinvest in us. And while Louisiana has had good leadership in this seat, it is an extraordinary opportunity to send someone who has been in the trenches for the last decade, building power in Louisiana, making certain that when John Bel Edwards became the governor, there was legislation for him to sign and there was work to be done. And when challenges faced the governor, when challenges faced the state, it was Karen Carter Peterson he turned to say, help me figure out how to get this done. You have to be a bad woman to be the person that people know they need to call on if they want to get something done. And that is Karen Carter Peterson. Endorsing in your own state is hard. Endorsing outside of the confines of your home state is a tricky thing because you're wading into politics that aren't your own. You're asking people to take your word for something, knowing that you don't have to live with the consequences. I'm really careful about endorsements, and I have friends that I love and I've got to make different decisions for, but Karen has been in the trenches with me for more than a decade. She has fought with me for more than a decade. She has believed in the power of our people, and she puts her money and her heart where her mouth is. She invests by electing other people to make sure they have a chance to serve. She does the work of recruiting in places where others don't look, and she hires and treats her staff like family because she understands that that's what we are, that that's what it means to be in the South, that we are in this together. As I listened to everyone just load her up with the plaudits and the accolades, all I could think of was that when I was in Louisiana and needed a little bit of help, I have phone numbers for a lot of folks there, but there's one number I called first, and that was Karen Carter Peterson. When I was running for governor and was being hit time and again with bad information, and she couldn't do anything to fix it, but I needed someone to help me remember who I was, I called my sister, Karen Carter Peterson. And when it came time for the Vice President of the United States, when she was swinging through Louisiana, when I was down there for an event, we both made certain that we didn't go to everything, but we made our way to an event for Karen Carter Peterson. Because we know that no matter who else is running, there are good people who want to do good work, but this is a time for the best person to do the greatest work. And while we hold the White House and Congress and the US Senate, we need a single voice from the 2nd Congressional District of Louisiana, a voice that is going to speak so loud that everyone will hear it roar, a voice that will speak in such grace that everyone who feels left out will know that they are in her embrace, a voice that will speak the truth and demand that help cometh to those who need it. That is Karen Carter Peterson. This is someone I would vote for if I lived in Louisiana, and maybe there will be a chance for me to vote for her one day. But all I can do today is tell you how important what you are doing is. Because you see, you already know what I know about Karen. So let me tell you what she knows about you. She knows that the only way to win this special election is to reach every voter possible. She knows that she needs people with authentic engagement to be the ones making those contacts, having those phone calls, doing those dials, knocking on those doors safely with PPE. She understands that organizing is the soul of success, that in politics, it's not enough to want it. You can't talk about it enough on TV. There's not enough digital airtime to convince someone who has been left out and left behind that this time you mean them. It takes you. She knows that she can put her message out there all she wants, but someone needs to be touched by you. Someone needs to hear from you, because there are voters who have given up hope because generational poverty has convinced them that nobody cares about them. There are folks who are suffering with COVID, suffering from COVID, suffering through COVID, and they need someone to just reach out and say, how can I help? And you have the ability to say that you can help them by ensuring that when the COVID relief package moves its way through Congress, the COVID recovery package that's going to reset the story of America, that we will have someone there who remembers what it means to be from Louisiana's 2nd District. Not just the big city, but from the bayous, from the small communities, from those little places that people can't pronounce, but everybody who knows who it is knows how to call it. That's what they need, but you're the only people who can make it so. Organizing is how we transform people who want into people who believe they have the power to do. She needs each and every one of you, and every single one of you is the reason she's going to win. Because when 315 people show up on a Thursday night, that means that you are going to send 300,000 people messages of hope, messages of tremendous transformation. You are going to be the reason that the 2nd Congressional District has the strongest showing in a special election since, we elected 2 U.S. senators in the great state of Georgia. You are going to make March a time for marching forward, a time for marching with truth, and a time for marching to victory. And so I'm going to tell you what I say every time. Let's go get it done.